episode of Speak Black Woman podcast. You are still officially quarantining with Quinn, and I'm so excited because the two special guests that we have today, I know them in real life, like real life people. These are people that I admire. These are people that I love with my whole heart, and they are going to be talking to you about, as an entrepreneur, how you can captivate the crowd with an awesome and amazing story. And you know, if you are part of the Speak Black Woman tribe, that I'm all about teaching you how to use your voice in every aspect of your business. We're all about making money, but we're also passionate about making a profit from public speaking. So if you want to know, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, how you can captivate the crowd with an awesome story, especially virtually, you are in for a treat, because Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III is about to rock your world and blow your mind. Now, if you are just joining us, it's your very first time, I want you to go ahead and put first time in the comments. If you are catching the replay, you can go ahead and put replay in the comments. However, if you've been rocking and rolling with me since March, when I started this, you are officially family. You are a part of the tribe. So I want to make sure that you type tribe in the comments. We see that Dee is here, and she is saying good afternoon, Quinn Conyers. She's also saying tribe. So I'm going to make sure that we say, hey, Dee, I'm so excited that you were here. And I'm even excited because I've been seeing you in these virtual speaking streets. So with that being said, I want to make sure that you understand not only who I tell you that I am. I think it's really important as a speaker, as an entrepreneur, to show you who I am. So please watch this quick video, and then we're going to be back with my special guest for the hour, Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III. Okay, so as you can see, that is a little bit about me. But for those of you who are still brand new, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. I show you how to turn conversations into cash so you can profit from public speaking, virtually and in person. I believe that you can make money speaking even if no one is paying you up front. So if that is something that you're excited about, make sure you go ahead and download this podcast and save it, or share this out with a friend, family member, business bestie, or profit partner. Now, today's topic, y'all, when I say I'm excited, and y'all don't be believing me, but the people that I bring on stage, I learn and earn from myself. So I don't want to hold Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III hostage to myself. I want to share my valuable resources with you. And I'm going to tell you something. Usually when I bring guests on, I do a great job of reading their bio and telling you how amazing they are. But for both of these people, because they are near and dear to my heart, I'm actually going to speak from the heart. So I'm always going to start with ladies first, with Sister Mothyna. And if you are not familiar with her, she is literally a storytelling rock star. I met her when I moved to Baltimore a couple of years ago, and she is the owner of this organization, actually visionary behind this organization called Heal a Woman to Heal a Nation. And I didn't know what I was getting into. All I knew was I had a heart to help. You heard me say the H word that I'm buried, the H word that I stomp on. You know me. I don't like the H word, help. And when I joined Heal a Woman to Heal a Nation, her and her co-founder, Mothyna, showed me how to serve. So she has just a knack for speaking life to you. Y'all think I got away with words? I've taken her coaching classes. I've been at her feet and I've learned. And she just has a great way of connecting people who are really like, Mothyna, whatever you need. It's like Coming to America, whatever you like. That's what we do for Mothyna, right? So Sister Mothyna, welcome to the Speak Black Woman podcast.
I am so excited to be with you, Quinn, and my tribe, because if you're rolling with Quinn Conyers, you're already part of my community and my tribe. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited to talk about how we are truly sharing stories that shift the trajectory of how people engage with you, particularly in your business. Let's go. And I know we've got so much to get to today.
Yes, I love it. And we're going to talk about just that. So if you're just joining us, we're about to talk to Mothyna, Sister Mothyna, and Robert Kennedy III about how you as an entrepreneur can captivate a crowd with an awesome and amazing story. We're going to talk about in person, but more importantly, we're going to stay with the times. We're going to talk about how do you capture the crowd virtually as an awesome storyteller. So Sister Mothyna, thank you for being here. Up next, we have Robert Kennedy III. Wait, hold on. Wait. Is that my shoulder? I love it. Listen,
What's up?
if you don't have a Robert Kennedy III in your life, do you see what you are missing?
Yeah. How's it going, Quinn QC?
That's how you introduce yourself when you come on stage. You have your own theme song. Okay. I love it. So, Mr. Robert Kennedy III, he really works with leaders and teaching them how to use their voice so they can reach their community, their employees, and their crowd with excellence. What I absolutely love about Robert is he probably doesn't remember, but I just remember he's been a real mentor to me. There's certain people that I really feel like I learn and glean from. And Robert is one of those people who has had my back from day one, believed in my voice. And more importantly, when I'm trying to figure this thing called speaking out, he's always been there to kind of give me some insight and some wisdom. He's a part of my mastermind group. I'm so gracious that he allowed me in. I'm the only one who's not a part of the National Speakers Association. And more importantly, way back in the day, before I had my first child, I had this, I was executive director of the Public Speakers Association. And Robert was my very first speaker who graced the stage. And I remember a couple people was like, is that your husband? And I'm like, no. And they were like, you guys have such chemistry. And I'm like, no, he's married and I'm married, right? But we just had such a bond that people just kind of thought, it was more than that. And I'm like, no, we rocking and rolling. So I just want to say, Robert, thank you. I mean, every time we have our groups, I'm just so appreciative to sit at your feet and add value, but more importantly, develop as a speaker and as a storyteller, because I be taking notes from both of you. So welcome to the Speak Black Woman podcast.
Well, thank you. Listen, you say you sit at my feet. I am honored, honestly, every time I'm around you, because I learn so much. Mothyna probably can vouch for this, right? The other day when I invited Quinn to be on a Clubhouse session that I was hosting. Listen, I'm hosting the session and she came on with her fabulousness, and I'm just like in awe listening to this young lady. And I'm like, listen, let me get my coins right, because I need to have her with me like everywhere. Right? So,
there's no introduction like a Quinn.
Listen.
Quinn.
Listen, I love it. And we got some people joining us in the crowd. We have Miss Erin. Erin is my new business bestie. We met on Clubhouse. She says, love getting to see your faces since we've only been on Clubhouse together. Dee says, RK3 is fabulous. Sharon says, whoa, this is awesome. That means she knows what's about to go down. And like we said, if you know this is going to be amazing, make sure you share this with someone, because we're about to get into a great conversation about how you can captivate the crowd as a awesome storyteller. So let's jump right into this. Sister Mothyna, I'm coming to you because ladies first. How important is your story when it comes to entrepreneurship or business? And the reason why I asked this question is because before it was all about the product, it was all about the service, but now people want the back end story. So how important is it for an entrepreneur to be able to tell their story?
When you sell one product, that's it. It's one product. When you share a piece of your being in an authentic way that lets the person on the other end who's receiving that story say, ooh, that's me, that's my community, that's my tribe, that's my people. You don't just sell one product, you sell a lifetime relationship. That is the power of storytelling. That is the power of allowing people to see just a little bit beyond what you've presented in front of them, because you're going to continue to generate more content, more products, more opportunities for people to say yes to you. So let them say yes to you, and then they'll say yes to anything you bring after that.
Listen, I love it. I mean, See, me and Rob were like, you see how when she talks, you just gotta absorb it because it's so good. This is who I learned from, y'all. So if you want to know how I became a great storyteller, these are my coaches right here, front and center, right in front of you. So Dr. Gia Conway says, I'm loving it already. She says a lifetime relationship. We said, D says the power of storytelling. Absolutely. So I love that. And I think that you're so right because you are building a long lasting relationship through your story. So RK3, Robert Kennedy III is what they call you. Let's talk about, because I know that leaders are your thing, right? Leaders are your thing. And a lot of entrepreneurs are entrepreneurial leaders and small business leaders. So talk about how effective it is to be able to connect, right? Because story is all about connections, not just the words that come out of your mouth. Talk about the connection aspect of really sharing your story.
Well, connection is everything. If you don't connect with people, then you don't have an option or you don't have opportunity, right? It's like when I remember going to a business event, networking event, and I'm, the introvert in me doesn't always like networking events. But I remember this specific event. There was a guy, I walked in and I call these people business card ninjas, right? I walked in and literally, before I got through the door, he was like chucking stuff at me. And he came up to me and he said, my name is such and such. This is my company. Before I had a chance to do anything, his card was in my hand. He literally grabbed my hand and held it out so that he could put the card in my hand. And he did that. And then he said, yeah, we do this. We're an IT company, blah, blah, blah. And then he walked away. And I said, what just happened? What just happened, right? So, I mean, you've heard this and we all know this internally. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So how do you get to know someone? In order to get to know, you've got to make a connection. And the best way to make that connection is to connect with something inside of them that recognizes the experience that you're sharing.
No, that is so good. That is so good on so many levels because people are literally, like you said, product puking, throwing up on you and almost like leaving you there like, what just happened? I didn't sign up for this. So I think that's a really good story. And we can all kind of see that person at a networking event when the world was open, who was shoving their business card in our hand and kind of walking away. And we're like, I don't even know you. You don't even know if I need this. So I think that is, a really, really good story, and situation. See how you just kind of wove that story in there? I just caught that. I don't know if that was intentional, but I saw that. It was definitely good. So let's talk about, I'm going to come to this, Sister Mothyna, because I think this is going to be a really good point. One of the population that I work with, a lot of people raise their hand, they want to become speakers. And that's not really my market. I like to work with entrepreneurs who really have become speakers by accident. They started their own business. They raised their hand and said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And as a default, they said, hey, Robert, you want to come speak? Or hey, Sister Mothyna, do you want to come speak in the inbox? And they're like, I'm not a speaker. How did it just happen? But then they find out that you can monetize it and maximize it. And now they're trying to figure out how to incorporate this speaking thing into their model. So as an entrepreneur who's being asked to speak, what is like the story that they should be telling when they get on stage? Because there's many stories and we're going to talk about the various stories. But if you're an entrepreneur who maybe speaking wasn't your first passion, but now you're doing more speaking, what is like that signature story that you need to be telling when you get to that stage?
It's the origin story. It's what makes you the hero in your niche. There's a lot of people who sell purses, got books, started a tech company, but what about your connection to your area, to your niche, and to your audience have you in that, old school Campbell's good zone? And once an individual connects to that aspect of the story, then they're able to think of you first because they know something more than you sell a purse or you have a tech company or you train speakers. They know that when I was in the 4th grade and I stood in front of a classroom in a butterfly collar yellow shirt with plaid yellow, green, and blue, why did they mix those colors together? I don't know. Skirt with a history book in my hand and stumbled over the word vegetable. Not only did my classmates laugh at me, but my 4th grade teacher laughed at me. And when I walked away and sat back in my seat that day and hung my head down low and looked at my desk and still remember that my desk was that really weird beige color that followed me through middle school and high school, that I would never speak in front of people again.
Yeah.
And if I would have stayed in my fourth grade seat, there are thousands upon thousands of women today that wouldn't have produced a book, that wouldn't have birthed a physical child, that wouldn't have found their best friend, their business bestie, that wouldn't be traveling the world, because I would have allowed my voice to stay in my fourth grade seat. But I know now that God has called me to create seats for so many. So your story goes beyond, hey, I run a company or organization for women, I train speakers. Your story says, I know what it is to be this thing and create the win for somebody who's listening to you.
Yes. Do you see how we saw her with the book in her hand, with the plaid on? I was just kind of leaning in like, oh yes, I love this. And you did something that I want Robert to kind of talk about like that. And that's when I knew, when I was talking about storytelling, that I wanted to kind of hit him with a double whammy. And this is a Speak Black Woman podcast. And you know, Robert is only the second man that I had on my podcast, and that was Brian Olds. So Brian Olds and Robert Kennedy III have a special place in my heart, but I know the wisdom that comes out of their mouth, and I definitely wanted you to get that. So Sister Mothyna did a great job of telling the story, and I want you to kind of deconstruct that a little bit, because I know you heard what I heard, and there are many stories to tell, and there's many recipes for stories. But in your opinion, what are like the top 2 or 3 things that make a story irresistible, that makes a story captivating? Because we can all, some people are telling stories and some people are showing stories. So Robert, I want you to dive into, how can someone show an incredible story, especially virtually?
Well, Sister Mothyna did something amazing just now. In order to get people to connect to your story, you can't just give them data. You can't just give them information. You can't just give them facts. People make decisions based on emotions. So how can you connect to their emotions? And emotions are connected to in several different ways. Emotions are connected through the senses. So smell, touch, hearing, feeling, those are all senses. Can you create that inside your story? Can you create that experience for your listener? Right? So one of the things that she did just now that was amazing, she didn't just say, I went and sat at a chair. She said, I sat in a beige chair. What is that doing? That is immediately causing your mind, that's a trigger in your mind to create that picture, because now there's a movie playing. Right. And so one of the things, and here is, for those of you that are listening, one of the ways that you can engage people immediately in the beginning of a story, any presentation, is by asking a question. Why? Because we have something in a response in our brains known as instinctive elaboration, that anytime a question is asked, we can't help but respond to it. Right. Whether the answer comes out of my mouth or not, mentally, I have to suppress the feeling or suppress the response to answer that question. But my mind is already doing that. So she asked questions. She asked, did you feel like this? Were you this girl? Do you remember that? The beige chairs? And she spoke about all, and she was engaging your emotions. And we have to engage people's emotions in order for it to connect with them and for them to remember it.
That's really, really good. You see why I had to have both of them? Look, all right, people are coming through now. Diana George says, connection is everything. Josephine Lambert says, I'm a part of the tribe. Bianca J. Jackson says, hey, love this panel. Brian Olds was like, we out here. As well as speaking to the senses, which I tell people all the time. And, you know, Robert, you just mentioned that, you know, the reason why we were so pulled into Sister Mothyna's story, because we can touch, taste, hear, and smell and see everything that she was talking about, you know, which I loved when it comes to storytelling. So here's what I want to do really quickly, because everybody is seeing you right now. They're seeing Sister Mothyna. They're probably Googling you. They're seeing Robert Kennedy III. They're probably scrolling through your pictures and learning more about you. I'm like, oh, wow, these are doing some great things. We haven't always woke up like this. We worked for this. So what I want to do really quickly is I want us to talk really quickly and tell your story about how you had a breakdown to come to the breakthrough in your storytelling, because I'm sure your storytelling expertise hasn't always been polished. So I want you to tell us, like, how did you perfect your storytelling skills? Because some of us are trying to go to Google University and we're trying to go on Clubhouse and ask questions about how to be a better storyteller. But there's something that you did. Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III invested in themselves to get to where they are now. So tell us a story about how you became a captivating storyteller. My Sister Mothyna, then we're going to come to you, Robert.
When I actually realized that my audience needed to hear from me. Now, I've been a paid speaker since I was 22 years old, right? And I've been doing trainings for police officers, the military, children in kindergarten classes, through middle and high school and college. Yet I didn't realize what I had in front of me and what I was doing until I stepped into an environment that said, this is what you just did. Like what you just saw with the breakdown, I didn't know what I was doing, which was, okay, you have natural talent, but there comes a time where you also need to add technique. There's a gifting always, sure, definitely. But there comes a time when you want to add technique and you want to hone your skill. And that's when you respect the craft. So it was when I stepped onto the campus of Lisa Nichols, and I told her, yeah, we have 300 women come, we talk, we move, we do 3-4 days. And she said, she literally hit me in my forehead. So if you're seeing this, imagine my hand coming straight at the camera to your forehead. Boop! Hit me straight in the forehead and said, do you realize you've built a large community? I was 26 years old, 27. I had no idea what I'd built. I just knew that hundreds of women would gather for 1 to 3 days a day, and once a year, and we would land and create amazing opportunities in that space. And when I began to realize, oh, that's why that wins, that's why that works, and this is how I up-level that, that's when I stepped into a client's room with about 40 or 50 teens, and they're all over the place because this is an alternative high school. So you have youth between the ages of 16 and 24 literally bouncing off the walls, all of them taller than all 5'2" and 1/3 of me. And I opened my mouth and captured every single one of their attention. They sat down, and everyone in the room, including the teachers, others began coming into the room, leaned in. When I stopped that day and I turned to look at the person who brought me in, she leaned back in her chair, and I still remember she wore a sky blue jumpsuit. And she said, Miss James, you were good before. I had you here like 6 years ago. You were good. But this thing that I'm seeing today, it's remarkable. What did you do? And I said, I learned the craft and I learned to respect it. I fell in love with my superpower.
Listen, we call that a mic drop moment. Yes, D clappers. I got this from Hilla Woman, Hilla Nation. It's even bigger now because I just had to get the jumbo size, because in this virtual world, I want to do that. But there is something that you said that just kind of got me all warm and fuzzy inside. She had the talent, but she married it with the technique. Did y'all hear that? Yeah. I want you to type in the comments if you are live with me or replay, and if you are listening at your leisure on the podcast, talent and technique. Write that down. Get a tattoo of talent and technique, because you said something that was so pivotal. And a lot of us are going through life because we've been giving a God-given talent, but we haven't put any work into crafting it and adding that part. So I just think that what you said about marrying the talent with the technique by investing in yourself, right? You don't learn this again from Google University. You don't learn this just from reading the books. We are all students of professional development. And she mentioned, Lisa Nichols, and I know some other people. Okay, Bianca is saying talent and technique. Okay, they're coming through fast. Dr. Gia Joyce Conway, she's saying talent and technique, which is, again, I just love that. TNT, I love that. I love it. So Robert, I'm coming to you. Let's talk about you. Like, how did you, right? You were Robert, right? Maybe even Robert Kennedy, but you became Robert Kennedy III. Then you became RK3. That's a transition, right? So let's talk about that, right? Like, how did you become such a captivating storyteller? What was your breakdown to come to the breakthrough and who we're talking to right now?
You know what? I don't know if I can pinpoint one moment that just flipped the switch. I do remember a moment where I was slated to speak. It was a Toastmasters event, and I think one of the things that I've prided myself on is really being an energetic and enthusiastic speaker, because I feel like a lot of times if you don't have the energy, you could have really good content, but if you don't have the energy to deliver that content, then a lot of it falls flat. So I focused on the energy. I focused on coming in and making woo people's hype or whatever. And so I did that. And we were at this event and I spoke and everybody clapped. And it was kind of polite. You know the polite clap, right? And there was a lady that came on after me, and her energy was, if I was on 10, she was on like 2.3. She was here, and she delivered something, and it was just a very relaxed and serene delivery. But she told about an experience that she had, and when she finished, there were tears coming from people's eyes, and sometimes when you kind of in your mind, you're like, the ego in us is like, I'm better than that person. I'm better. I got the energy. And I'm like looking at the response of the room to this lady whose energy was way below what I thought it should be. And when I really broke down what she did, I realized that, my goodness, she connected with an experience. She connected with an emotion. She took people to a place. She literally transported. I mean, she Star Trek them, right? Teleported them from their seat to wherever she was, and the trauma and the thing that she had experienced. She gave them a front row seat for that. All I did was, give them popsicles that they could enjoy for a moment. Right? But she gave them something much deeper, much more lasting. And so I said, oh my gosh, I got to go back to the drawing board. And I discovered that the thing that I was not doing, and some people confirmed this for me later on, the thing that I was not doing was I was not being vulnerable. I was not revealing myself. I was not sharing my flaws, my weaknesses, my breakdowns, because I viewed them at that point as, if I did that, I was opening up myself for criticism. But in order to connect with people, in order to reach people where they are, you have to let them know that the breakdowns that they're having, the experiences that they're going through, they're not the only ones going through. You've gone through that, you've experienced it, and you made it over. You passed through, you conquered. And because I can do that, it's possible for you too.
I love it. And even with that, I saw this lady crying. I see that one little tear, and I wasn't there. But even the way you just shared that, this is how you can tell these are professional storytellers. And Robert, you get up a good point, and I want to go to Mothyna with this one, because it's a really interesting thing in regards to emotions when telling stories, because people get really, really wrapped up in these stories. And I remember I probably did every single role at Heal a Woman to Heal a Nation that is imaginable. And I remember I was doing a room, and the room was over, and I was speaking. Now, I'm a high energy. I'm like Robert, right? Like Sister Mothyna can pull you in, and then she can go high and low. I like pretty much stay on 10. That's kind of like where I live at. And I remember speaking at a Heal a Woman to Heal a Nation conference, and somebody started crying. And I was like, why is she crying? I don't know what to do with tears. I'm a high five. I'm a hugger type person. What is this? I don't know what to do. So literally, I think they were like, okay, Quinn is the only speaker that's not back. What is going on? So her business partner, Mothyna, came in and was like, I didn't know what to do. People were crying in the audience, and she kind of like saved my life, you know what I mean, and put it back together. And then I think later on, Sister Mothyna was like, what happened? It was like, oh, somebody was crying in the room. I had to close the room down and bring Quinn back. She didn't know what was going on. So I want to talk about that, because I know you mentioned before about standing in your story and standing on your story. So what if you are sharing something emotional, that might pull tears from the audience, audience, what happens if you feel yourself getting a little bit choked up? How do you handle that? Because these stories are real. It's new to you, but it's part of our DNA and our reality. So if someone is telling a story, how do you stand in it versus standing on it, or vice versa?
Beautiful question. And you highlighted two key things, Quinn. And I love your vulnerability and transparency because it helps everyone else see growth and development. Now you can manage any room. I've seen it. And it's beautiful to see. And so that's what I mean by talent and technique. Technique is, how do I close a room? How do I close a space where there is high emotion and not leave people down in what we call the valley of muck and mire, and bring them back out to the mountaintop where they can see the opportunity for a really magnetic and amazing future. And when you talk about that, that's where you need to be when you tell your story. Now, a story arc is like a valley. Look at it as a valley. So you're ideally in a place where you feel good, confident, solid, but you haven't forgotten where you've come from. And if you're teaching or training or speaking in front of a room, you can take people down the journey to where you felt at that low or dip or down in the valley. And then your job and responsibility as a speaker is to help people journey out of that space with you. If when you speak, you go down into the valley and you get uncontrollably emotional, you've got the tears and maybe even the snot bubbles and the ugly cry, you are no longer in control of yourself, and you're no longer in control of the experience for your audience. That's how you know you're not ready to tell a story, because you're still in it versus being on it. When you're on the story, you've come up out of that emotion of it. You can still tap in because that's when the tears come. But you've come out to the mountain, not to say you've arrived and all is well and you'll never experience anything again, but you've come so far, you've come far enough out of that experience that you can look down and see the value in that valley. And that's what you share. So that's how you know you're ready to tell a story, is because you're on it. You still see the value in that valley, and you can share the lesson so that your 8-year journey could be an 8-minute testimony that saves somebody else's 18 years of mire. And now you can tell the story. That's on it versus in it.
I love that. Beautiful analogy and way to break that down. I was on a Clubhouse room and there was someone talking about storytelling, because I'm always kind of in these rooms, especially if I see a Sister Mothyna or a Robert Kennedy in there. I'm like, ooh, let me see what's going on. And an analogy that was so good, and I would love to have your take on this, Robert, was they talked about when you tell your stories, they quoted Brene Brown. And they said that when you tell your story, you want to tell the story from a place of your scar and not your wound. And I was just like, ooh. So, Robert, what do you think? I mean, I have my own rendition of what that means, but break that down. What do you think that means, telling your story from your scar and not from your wound? What do you think that means?
Well, the wound is fresh. The wound it's still bleeding. It's still in the middle of. And it's hard for you to lead someone out of if you have not been out of yourself. Right. And so when we tell story, and when I say that, it doesn't mean that, listen, I can't tell my story until I'm a success, until I'm a 7-figure speaker or 7-figure business owner. It means that life is full of stuff, right? Life isn't this flat line. You've got, Sister Mothyna used the valley. Life has a bunch of them. Right. You've got some, you've got this, and you got the up and the down. And while you're in the middle of the valley, it's wound. It's hard to tell the story. It's hard to help people to navigate out of that story. You can bring them to the emotion, but where do you take them if you're in the middle of it? Right? You've got to be on the other side of it so that you can give them some perspective and then be able to share, okay, this is how I navigated it. It may not work for you, but this is how I did it. And at very minimum, you have at least an option for yourself should you be in that circumstance as well. I want to add one thing to what Sister Mothyna said. When you're in the middle of something sometime and there's that emotion and people are crying, we talk about death or public speaking as one of the biggest fears, right? Here's one of the bigger fears that people have. One of the biggest fears that people have is silence. So if there's something happening in my story and there is an emotional moment, sometimes as a speaker, I need just to be silent. and let the thing rest. Sometimes we bring people to a place and then we try to Lamborghini through the emotion instead of letting it marinate and letting them really sit inside of it and get the fullness of that experience, because it's only in the fullness of that experience that we can have them see the true meaning of that experience. So let's pause for a moment. Silence is, I mean, you learned this in Toastmasters, right? Silence is one of the reasons why people say or use filler words, because they're scared of moments of silence. And so we fill it up with other things. How do you get rid of the ums and the ahs? You be comfortable with silence.
We call
That's all I
that.
got to say.
No,
Right.
I love it. It's the power of the pause, right? So like you said, letting it marinate, letting it, especially when because if you've been telling certain stories and you've been sharing certain things, when it's a sync moment. I know, for example, when I tell people about how they are the hero and not the help, I got to let that sink in, because everybody's like, woo, you know what I mean? Let me kind of digest that for a second. So no, I appreciate you kind of elaborating on that. So here's what I want to do really quickly, because we got a lot of people who are coming in. Dr. Joyce Conway says, it made me want to know more as a preacher. This is so important. Thank you. D. Bowden is saying this is value in the valley. Angela is saying this is all facts. So you guys are definitely dropping some gems right now. And I want to make sure that people know how they can connect with you. I want you to be able to broadcast your brilliance. So if somebody is like, oh my gosh, I'm loving everything right now about Sister Mothyna, or RK3 is speaking to me, where can they go to connect with you and find out what you have going on? Ladies first, I'm going to come to Sister Mothyna, and then I'm going to come to you, RK3.
I'm trying to get a wig. Hold on. No, okay. Go ahead.
That was so good. That was so well timed. I promise you can find me at All Things Mothyna. That's Mothyna. And if you're a speaker who's looking to move from mediocrity to magnetic storytelling, that's when you would connect with me. If you're good, we go to great. And if you're great, we go to grand. And can you see my language there? So we want to ensure that every opportunity that you have allows us to really create that legacy that lets you have raving fans that last a lifetime. So I'm at All Things Mothyna. Check me out there. I'm at Stage Ready Speaker, and you can find out about upcoming events that I have, including one that's coming up on February 6th.
Okay, February the 6th. I love it. I love it. What about you, RK3? I'm not going to call you Roberta because you are a man. So we're going to make sure that you do not get that wig. We're going to honor your masculinity right now. How can people connect with you? Go ahead and broadcast your brilliance. Let people know where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on all social media as Robert Kennedy 3. That's Clubhouse, that's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, that is LinkedIn. Where else? I'm not on TikTok, so yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm Robert Kennedy 3. Wow, my video just went out. Hold on. All right. Yeah, I'm Robert Kennedy 3. You can also connect with me in the Storytellers Growth Lab. You can go to storytellersgrowthlab.com, or you can just search Storytellers Growth Lab on Facebook, and we can connect there. The Storytellers Growth Lab is the place where we teach you how to impact, influence, and inspire with your story.
I love it. So here's how I want to kind of put this to a close. I want each of you to give us a secret sauce or tip when it comes to being a captivating storyteller, especially virtually. I'll go first, and I'm going to go to Robert, and then I'm going to end with Sister Mothyna this time. Just give us a quick tip. I'll go first. One of my cheat ways on how I become a better storyteller is I watch comedians. The reason why I watch comedians is because they are very expressive. They use their nonverbal communication, their eyes, their hands. So if I'm like, okay, I want to kind of spice up like a quick tip, I'll watch like a Kevin Hart or a Eddie Murphy or somebody like that who is super expressive. And then I find myself using my hands, because all comedians are doing is telling a series of stories. So that's my like quick little tip, my little nugget. So if you want to be a better storyteller, watch comedians. If you really want to go a step further, watch comedians with no sound. because now all
Yes.
you're getting is like this, and you're like, okay. And if you're still tuned in, it means that they are great at telling stories, because that's really what they do. So, Robert Kennedy III, give us your secret tip. What's your sauce on a
I'm gonna
storytelling tip?
I'm going to use the Dale Carnegie tip.
Okay.
Dale Carnegie had that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the tricks, or one of the things that he suggested in that, is always use somebody's name. The sweetest sound to any person in any language is the sound of their own name. So is there an opportunity for you online or in person to use somebody's name, the name of the person in your audience? Dr. Gia, right? Diana George, Josephine Lambert, Kimberly, all of those people are looking at the screen right now because I just called their names.
I love it. I love
Good.
it. So here's what I'm going to share. And it's more along the motivational side, because no one knows. And the biggest tip that you can take as a speaker is simply to unguard your gift. Nobody knows you're a speaker, then how brilliant you are doesn't matter. Unguard your gift. Let it out the prison yard, let it off cell block D, F, Q, or J, and get it out there so that people are looking for you, ready to hear from you, and are primed to receive you and go out ahead of you and send your gift out so that people are looking for you as the amazing speaker that you are.
I love it. 3 amazing tips. And if you like what you're hearing so far, you definitely want to make sure that you connect with Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III, because they are awesome and amazing. And if this was your very first time catching the Speak Black Woman podcast, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. I show them how to turn conversations into cash so they can profit from public speaking, virtually and in person. And if you are using your voice in your business, in your entrepreneurial ventures, your story is what's going to connect. So yes, you can be awesome and amazing at what you do, but getting very comfortable and confident with telling your story in a way that is clear, concise, and compelling is a necessity. It is non-negotiable, not a nice to have. And if you know for a fact that you need some assistance with telling your story, crafting your story, figuring out when to tell your story, then I definitely highly recommend Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III, because they are masters at what they do. And as you can tell just from this podcast alone, that when they open up their mouth, value comes out. So I wanted to make sure that I give you the best that I know. And literally, Josephine is saying, unguarded. Dr. Gia Joyce Conway is saying great. She's also giving you guys some hand claps. Kimberly is saying great information. Thank you for sharing your stories. So if you like this, don't let this be the end of the conversation. Let it be a start of the conversation. They have wonderful and amazing programs. They can teach you, coach you, but more importantly, transform you. And if that is what you want, Sister Mothyna and Robert Kennedy III are the people to get the job done. So as always, thank you for joining us for this episode of Speak Black Woman. You are officially quarantined with Quinn. Until next time, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you download this, but more importantly, make sure that you speak up, because your voice is valuable as a Black woman, and it is my job to make sure that your voice is seen and heard. Thank you so much. Until next time, talk to you soon.